the tank in the show was not an M1 Abrams, but I can understand that they intended it to be, but couldn't get their hands on an actual Abrams.
Okay.
I have been inside an Abrams a couple of times before, though, and there is not that much room. It is pretty cramped.
Okay, well, I thought it was an Abrams M1, and I guess I was mistaken because I don't know from tanks.
That's okay. I mean, Matt didn't mention what kind of tank it is, but the point is there's not a lot of room in there.
Yeah, that seemed like a lot of room inside of a tank.
Well, you need a little bit of room for.
You can start a fire and cook some squirrels and stuff in there.
You probably could. I was gonna say you need a bit of room for him to move around, but I guess it wasn't totally realistic. Speaking of the tank, Don wrote in. Oh no, he posted on our Facebook page to say that an Abrams has a crew of 4, not 3. Whether it was an Abrams tank or not, it's probably similar. So the crew is the commander, the driver, the gunner, and the loader.
There is a loader. Okay, that's good to know.
Yep. The cannon isn't auto-loaded. It has to be done manually. That's what the loader does.
Oh man, I was way off on this tank.
That's okay. A bullet fired through someone's head at close range like that inside a tank would almost certainly ricochet around inside the compartment until it spent its energy or ended up in something. That bullet didn't bounce at all. Rick must have got lucky and it embedded in something right on the other side of that zombie's head.
I'll assume that when he fired the round and his hearing went, that it was bouncing around and ended up in something.
And he got lucky.
We just didn't hear it. And he got lucky.
Because heroes like that are typically the lucky characters.
They have to be.
They have to be. Han Solo couldn't do what he did without being a lucky guy.
No.
Same goes for Rick Grimes. And Don goes on to say an escape hatch in the bottom isn't unusual for tanks,
Really?
so you can get out if it's flipped over. And really,
that's a good idea.
It really makes a lot of sense.
It does.
You know, there isn't that much room in a tank. Spaces where you put equipment, fuel, armor, and weapons. You don't leave that much empty space.
Right.
Also makes sense. It's like a space shuttle. You just take what you need and you pack it all in and then you go. And finally, he says the internet has far too much information on it. Thank you, Don. I assume you looked up a lot of that online.
Well, I guess my knowledge of tanks is way off base.
You know what? It's expanding right here right now.
It is expanding. And TV has shown me information about tanks that I thought I accumulated correctly in my head. Obviously, that's not the case.
That's okay. Finally, Victor sent us an email regarding the Magic Hatch and Rick's suicide. He says, I want to start off with saying that I really enjoy your show and enjoy listening to it every week. Thank you, sir. I wanted to comment briefly on the Magic Hatch and Rick's fake-out suicide. Now, I've seen the premiere many times since it has aired, and I don't know if you two noticed it, but Rick sighs in relief the moment he looks up and sees the hatch. My guess is that he was too distracted trying to escape that he didn't notice it, and since it was mainly taken from his point of view, we, the audience, did not see it as well. And to agree with Chris, Rick, at least from what we've seen in the premiere, doesn't seem like a man who would kill himself. Anyway, I know this message is all over the place, but you guys are well-spoken and all that junk. Love the show, and keep it up.
Thank you.
So, obviously, he looked relieved when he saw it. I mean, he was about to shoot himself in the head, and turns out he didn't have to.
No.
So
always a good thing.
Always a good thing, for sure. I did go back. We were wondering last week how many shots he fired. I went back and watched it. He didn't, in fact, shoot 5 times.
That's great.
And that last one, I guess, was for him.
Okay, because I just sort of went by feel. It seemed like 5 rounds, and I know the revolver held 6, so that's good.
I counted it. He shot 5 times, put the gun to his head, and then climbed in a tank.
For episode 2, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, episode 2. A couple other things I noticed while rewatching it. The police car at the very beginning, where Shane and Rick are sitting there talking, is the same one that Rick takes to drive to Atlanta after the zombie outbreak.
Okay, so we were right there.
Same license plate.
Right, so, okay, good.
Did we talk about that?
Well, we talked about the little girl being zombie number 5 or 6. I forget what number exactly, but we assumed that happened after leaving Morgan, but before getting to Atlanta.
Well, it had to, because he had his car and he had his uniform on, stuff like that.
So that was a car.
I just noticed that it was the same exact car. Like, it's like he had his squad car, that was his, maybe, and he took the same one when we left for Atlanta.
Good.
In the scene where Dwayne is sitting on a mattress in the house reading comics, there is an Invincible comic on the mattress sitting beside him. And Invincible, of course, is another Robert Kirkman book.
Oh, perfect.
So it occurred to me to go and check that out because I wasn't sure if you saw any of the comic books, but I did remember the scene where Morgan says to him, "Stay down here, read your comics. I'm going upstairs to do something."
Yep.
And I'm like, comics, I should go and see. So I took the high-def version that I bought from the iTunes store, opened it up in QuickTime so I could blow it way up, and I blew it up as far as I could, and it's very distinctly an Invincible comic lying on that mattress.
Outstanding.
So pretty good. And that's it. I didn't notice anything else, although I've watched it like 4 times now, and I'm glad to say it gets better every time.
Yeah.
Drifting on the spaceway by the Beatrice Hotel, mapping out constellations of the place I know so well.
Let's move on to our recap of episode 2, shall we?
We shall.
So episode number 2, it's entitled Guts.
That's appropriate.
Yep, we open on the camp. Now the camera follows a long shot of Amy's ass as she's walking along. She eventually gets to a little fire pit where Lori is, and she's bringing her a bucket of mushrooms. They have a brief exchange about whether you can eat them or not, if they're poisonous. And then Lori leaves to pick up some more mushrooms. She walks out into the forest, and she starts to get freaked out by something sneaking up on her. And of course, everyone thinks it's a zombie, or maybe it's just an animal or
I
something
thought
like
it was
that.
going to be the Vatos.
Oh, this early, eh?
That's what I thought. Last week, that's what I thought.
That didn't occur to me.
We talked about it on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I should pay attention.
You watched the show 5 times.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. We get that really typical kind of character view out of her eyes of her looking around the forest where the camera sweeps across really fast like it's her head moving.
Yep.
Turns out it's Shane. And they lie down and have sex.
Okay, so I have a problem with this. And I have a problem for one of 2 reasons. You can pick which reason you like best for me having a problem. One is this seems like a really cheap shot. Just a cheap scare, kind of a cat jumping out of a wardrobe kind of scare. So from a story point of view, it seemed like kind of a cheap shot.
I totally agree with you. I can't think of any reason why they would pull something like that.
Okay, in character, this is my other reason. If this actually, you take this out of the storytelling aspect and you put it to the in-character aspect, Shane's got the shittiest sense of humor on the planet. If he thinks that sneaking up and grabbing a hold of somebody in the woods during a zombie apocalypse is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And she enjoys it.
And she kind of liked it, exactly. She wasn't pissed or anything. She just kind of...
She had a scared look on her eyes, like she didn't recognize him. Who the hell? Oh, it's this guy. Okay, let's have sex.
Yeah. No, I didn't like it at all. I mean, for both reasons you've said, and also just because it's been done a million times, where someone sneaks up for no reason and scares the person for the benefit of the audience at the expense of the narrative of the show, right? And I really didn't like it at all. But the point is, he was out there waiting for her to meet her for a forced rendezvous. Exactly. As they're starting to get hot and heavy, they both notice jewelry around her neck that I assume is from her husband Rick.
Well, it's a wedding ring on the chain too, right?
I thought it was a heart-shaped locket.
It was a locket and the wedding ring as well.
Okay. So she takes it off, puts it in the...
Leaves it in the forest.
Leaves it in the leaves beside her. I really thought you could both tell that they felt a little guilty about it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the feeling
I
I
put it in my pocket, just so you know.
Yeah, but she's going to probably take her pants off.
Well, still, I assume that when she goes back to camp, she's going to try and remember her pants. And
probably
might not remember the locket that she left on the grass. I would have put it in my pocket.
Well, you're always thinking when you're out having sex with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not really other people.
or people, person. So that's how the show opens. We get more reason to dislike Shane, I would say, and Lori for that matter.
Well, I don't know if I dislike him. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. You know, you think your husband's dead, and you're looking for a father figure for your son, which we later on get to see a shot of that she enjoys. You know, I don't think it's entirely unreasonable. I don't really see this as an extramarital thing, right?
Well, she thinks he's dead, which makes it okay. If your spouse dies, you're allowed to have sex with other people.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's obviously a grieving period that is appropriate, but that's more of a social thing, and social structure, as we know, is probably just done.
It's just gone.
So, you know, I don't see this as a reason to dislike them. I see this as a reason to go, uh-oh.
But in context of the show, I think in general people are getting a bit of a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to Shane.
Oh, Shane's annoying. I don't like Shane.
Well, he might not be around that long.
You know, that's fine.
We'll find out. So we cut to Rick in the tank. The camera pans down from the high point that we ended the last episode at, which I thought was really cool. It's like we came back in and the sound slowly faded in, which was fun. It was another one of those shots that reminded me of Firefly, where if the camera's that far away, you wouldn't hear anything. And then as it gets closer, you'd slowly start to hear the sound, right? He's still on the radio with Glenn, and Glenn is explaining how to escape. He says the zombies are distracted with the horse, and you got to make a break for it.
Yeah, that's his advice. What's your advice? Make a run for it.
Make a run for it. Well, there was some good comic relief here because Glenn says you're surrounded by walkers. That's the bad news. Rick said there's good news, and Glenn says no. So Rick grabs. He already has the gun. He looks around for anything else he can take. He finds a grenade.
Yes, he does.
Which is cool. And he makes his break for it. He hops out. He runs down. He runs along the sidewalk. He's shooting zombies, and he meets Glenn.
Yep, not dead.
Not dead. And they climb up to a rooftop and ultimately get back to the department store to meet the rest of the group.
Okay, so one thing I noticed here, when the two guys came out of the department store with the baseball bats and started bashing into zombies.
Yeah, just as they got there.
When they hit the heads, there was like spurting blood.
Out of the zombies' heads?
Out of the zombies' heads.
All right.
I'm still not sure if that was actual spurting blood, meaning that they have a working circulatory system, or whether it was just like bashing the head and blood spray, just kind of out of the bash. But if it was spurting blood, like arterial kind of...
Well, to me, I think if you were to hit a living person in the head with a baseball bat, the first couple of hits, you don't really spurt blood. You just crack the skull. Right? And I'm not even sure if blood sprays out if you crack somebody's skull anyways, because it's your brain, right? There's not...
Doesn't Dexter.
Okay, well, and if Dexter says it's true, then why not? But with a zombie, they could be in an advanced state of decay, so if their skull isn't very that intact anyways, and you hit it a couple times, it might spray out right away.
Okay, so I just was thinking that there might have been like some kind of arterial splurting kind of thing. I just thought that would be a bit weird for a dead person.
It would be a little bit. It was probably just them, wanting to throw in a little bit extra blood there, so why not make it spray around a little bit? It's good for the effect, I think.
Good blood spurting.
So just as Rick and Glenn arrive back at the department store, Andrea's there with amongst other people, and she immediately puts a gun to Rick's head and accuses him of almost getting them all killed.
Okay.
Because he's drawn the zombies to them.
I have a problem with the concept of her not knowing how to use a weapon yet, and what she did with that weapon holding it to Rick's head.
Well, at that point, we don't know that she doesn't know how to shoot the gun, but yes, she's an amateur. She's new at weapons.
Her finger was not on the trigger.
I noticed that too. Her finger wasn't on the trigger.
You only do that when somebody tells you that you need to do that unless you intend to pull the trigger. So she had some kind of training to not put her finger on the trigger.
Oh, really? So anyone, if I just picked up a gun, never having held one, I would immediately put my finger on the trigger.
Generally, that's what a lot of people would do.
That's
You put your finger on the trigger, right? But she had her finger alongside the trigger, and they train you to do that for safety.
Well, I think this might be a continuity error in that case, because I looked at that and thought, man, someone dropped the ball and they didn't tell her to put her finger on the trigger. Who knows? But it bothered me a little bit because I thought no one would hold a gun without doing that. But
the police do that.
Yeah, but see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was a training issue.
Yeah. So yeah, it might be a continuity thing. It might be they do have people on set training these people how to safely use weapons. Like even weapons that have blanks in them are still extremely dangerous.
Oh yeah,
the gases that come out. There's little bits. There's still gunpowder in the blank cartridges, right? There's just no round in it. So the shot from that can burn and
especially at that close range.
Yeah, at any range.
But don't they have guns for movies and TV shows that don't actually fire anything? Like they're purely prop guns? Wouldn't they use a gun like that when there's a scene where there's no intention of shooting it?
That I don't know. It's hard to do because the blank rounds, the reason they have the gas in there is because, it depends on okay, she was holding some kind of semi-automatic pistol, right? So if she were to fire that, an actual blank round, there's a little hole at the end of the barrel that when the bullet fires, some of the gas goes up into that hole and pushes the piston back, which actually recocks the weapon. Mm-hmm. So then you need that gas for a blank. If you have a blank you just fired, if you didn't have that gas coming out, the weapon wouldn't recock and wouldn't behave as a semi-automatic. It would just be a single shot. So that gas that's coming out is superheated, and at that close range, I assume that the damn thing wasn't loaded, even with blanks.
Yeah.
Like, make sure that thing is not loaded. Yeah. And when you're pointing at somebody at point blank range. But what the hell was my point? I have no idea. Her finger would have been on the trigger.
I think it would have been too. And it bothered me that it wasn't because I thought it was just sloppy work, basically.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, Brandon Lee died filming The Crow due to a blank.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm not sure. I've heard a real round was actually accidentally loaded. I've heard a blank was fired too close because sometimes not all the gunpowder will blow up, and some it'll shoot out. Like little pellets will shoot out super fast, and if that hits you, you get like stippling and burning and kind of all kinds of weird stuff. But there might be like a small object in there as well, maybe hit him. But
who knows?
He died because of a mishandled firearm on set.
Okay, so Rick mentions that he was trying to flag the helicopter, which they mention again.
That's good.
And the rest of the crowd accuses him basically of seeing things, as in there's no helicopters here. You're seeing things. So who knows? Who knows if Rick was imagining that because he wanted to so badly,
And Merle was on the roof. You think he saw the helicopter?
Well, if he was on the roof, he would have seen the helicopter.
Well, they weren't talking to him at that time, so maybe he did see the helicopter. And by the time they got up to him, the conversation changed.
It sure did, but you think that's the kind of thing you'd mention?
Well, he was busy shooting his rifle, right?
Yeah. But speaking of Merle and the roof, that's exactly where we head next. And there he is, and he's firing at zombies. And they're like, what are you doing? You're just attracting attention. Now, Merle Dixon is a pretty serious redneck, if I can use such a term. He argues with T-Dog and has a fight, and they drop the N-word.
3 times the N-word was dropped in this episode.
That was the first one. After they fight a bit, Rick steps in and handcuffs Merle to a pipe.
And
awesome. He tells him I'm officer friendly. There are no N-words anymore, and there are no redhead.
There are no redheads.
I paraphrase. There are no redneck shitheads either. Just white meat and dark meat. Pretty good line. And I'm glad I'm not the actor because I couldn't spit it out.
Yeah, I thought that was a racial slur as well. Right at my first time I heard it, but then I realized that it wasn't. He was talking about zombies.
White meat and dark meat.
Yep.
Well, it kind of was. I think he was saying white people and black people.
No, he was saying no. There's only white meat and dark meat. Us, the white meat, and them, the dark meat.
Oh, okay.
So he was referring to the zombies as rotten meat kind of thing.
All right, sure, that makes sense. Another interesting thing happens then. Rick finds cocaine on Merle and throws it off the building. It was the only reference they made to it But I think it's interesting that they introduced drugs like that to the show. It's not in the comic at
It
all.
might just be briefly. There's one thing.
It could, but why would they make a point of saying, "Oh, I notice you have cocaine on your nose," and take it away and throw it off the building? Like,
Just
what's
piss
the
him
point? I guess just to piss him off. But
You mean from a storytelling point of view?
yeah, I feel like there should be something to that. If you're going to make a reference to that sort of thing, it's got to lead somewhere.
Well, him and his brother could very well be drug dealers, right?
Yeah,
Traffickers, could be anything.
probably were back in real life. So at that point, they start talking about how to escape the city, and Rick suggests the sewers.
Wait,
yeah.
We got one thing that when he's done with Merle, he heads over to the ledge and his hand is shaking. Did you notice that?
No.
He headed over to the ledge of the edge of the building, and his hand was shaking, and he grabbed it. His right hand was shaking, and he grabbed it with his left hand. I'm not sure whether that will become significant in the future, or whether it was just a high stress situation and his adrenaline bleeding off somehow.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I didn't really make note of it myself, but I think it's probably just he's